Hey guys, it's Carla.
And this is Caesar.
Welcome back to another episode of Carla and Caesar's Modern Life.
Hey, episode 25.
Hey.
Damn.
They added up so quickly.
I know, time just flies by. Now we're like almost like, we're in the middle of the summer now, towards the end of the summer. And then it's going to be fall. And then pretty soon we'll be to a year of doing this show.
Yeah, I'm excited for the fall.
Yeah, I'm excited for the fall too. But I have a lot of stuff coming up in summer that I still want to do. So, how's your week been?
It's been good. Yeah. Not super eventful, but it's been good.
Yeah, like the stuff we talked about last time was the most recent thing. I mean, I did go to the Cool Lab Festival between that last time and this time that we recorded, and that was really fun. I got to do another vlog where I interviewed people. Yeah. So I'm going to edit that, and that's going to come out soon.
Nice.
So
Are you excited to edit that?
Yeah, it's shorter than the other one because we got less footage, but it's going to be fun. And then it's smaller of an area, so we don't have a lot of B-roll. So it's gonna be a shorter video, but I think it'll be nice. I mean, it does a good job shooting it, so it's gonna be really like well put together.
Nice.
Have to figure out when that's dropping because you don't want to be late on it either. Like I don't want to be like 2 weeks later. Right. But I also don't have a lot of time. And then something else that I hadn't mentioned on this show. I don't know why, that I'm available now to record podcasts for you out there. If you're watching the show and you're like, oh, I can do that, or I want to do that, then I have a mobile studio set up that I can take anywhere, and I'll be able to record. Like if you're a person listening to the show and you're like, I want to start a podcast, just tell me where I can be there and start recording, and like within an hour, like you can be set, ready to go. It's really fun because it's really fun for me to do this because I've been learning how to do it for like 7 years. So little by little, I was like, all right, this is how you record with you. These are the good microphones, and these are the good. I ended up starting using iPhone cameras because all the cameras that I would use, they weren't like ideal. But the iPhone cameras are what we use to shoot this show and the Rodriguez show, and it looks really good. Yeah. So hit me up at I am Caesar Rod if you're interested in getting into that. And I try to keep my prices affordable, but I'm also trying to make a living off of it. So it's pretty reasonable.
I'd say so, yeah. Yeah,
and if you want to record where we recorded the Rodriguez show, I actually worked out a deal with Hits 101 Radio to make that happen too. Nice. So it's I call it Caesar Rodriguez Podcast and Video Service, and I'm working on Instagram for that and everything. But for right now, you can hit me up at I am Caesar Rod, and I'm really excited to take this step for myself.
That's super exciting.
Yeah, and I already have a client, so I have one client so far, and I'm hoping to get more clients in the future. And you can speak on how great it is to podcast, right?
Yeah. Brings you out of your shell for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like in addition to the work that you've been doing yourself, like I feel like this podcast too, like you're able to, I found it more easier to socialize, but at the same time then I went completely the other way and now I can't socialize without podcasting. But for you, I'm sure you, like you said, you got out of your shell, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, if you want to do that, I can do like audio podcasts. I can do video podcasts. I can even shoot, like if you're a person that wants to shoot workouts, I can do that too because I got the cameras and multi-angle setup and stuff like that. So I have 2 cameras and then 3 cameras I'm working on as well. So, big things coming. And I am Caesar Rod on Instagram, and we flash it on the screen all the time. So check us out. Check me out on that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Proud
of you for doing that, honey.
Thanks. Yeah. I mean, even like we were talking about the other day, it's like sometimes you doubt, like, oh, can I do this on my own? But it's just like the universe like testing you, like you said, like to just keep pushing. And I did. I put myself out there, and I was able to get one person. I have a few people interested as well, so it's like it's building, and I'm excited to build something like this.
Yeah, that's awesome. Nice.
Yeah. All right, I'll stop advertising myself, and I'll start advertising our channel. Go ahead and give us a like on this, and comment, share the videos. People are really liking the reaction videos, along with the podcast too. We get some decent views on all of them, so thank you to everybody that has supported us.
Yeah, seriously, thank you so much. Yeah. So cool.
Yeah, and it's cool to do things like even on both shows now, but even on this show more, I would say like I'm more relaxed and I'm more myself. And people appreciate that, and that's cool. Somebody said we're chill and not obnoxious. So.
We'll take it.
We'll take it.
That's really nice that people go out of their way to comment, because like I'll watch videos and I really enjoy them, but I don't always comment. And for somebody to just go out of their way to do that, it's really nice.
So I think we should get into, what we didn't get into last week, which was the shadow work, right?
Right. Last week would have been week 5 for us,
Mm-hmm.
but we wanted to take a little bit more time with it. We had a lot going on last week.
Yeah.
So this, for the last 2 weeks, we've been working on making a list of 2 things. Number 1 is things or situations that frustrate or for whatever reason strike a nerve, I guess, with us.
Yeah, like triggered you in a sense.
Yeah, and it can be a situation or a person, and then you narrow it down to like what it is about that is resonating with you on a deeper level. And then the second list was to make a list of any advice we give to people, and then so that we could see if maybe that's some advice that we're trying to give to ourselves.
Like remind ourselves. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that was cool. Did you have a hard time coming up with your lists?
A little bit, yeah. Just because I couldn't think of, like, within the 2 weeks that we've been trying to do this, I haven't really had interactions where specific people have, like, triggered me or annoyed me in my day-to-day life. Like, obviously the easy one and one of the people on my list is, like, a famous person, because you see the news and you're like, oh, like, because we had talked about, like, even like people in the news or famous people, like, there's a reason why you like certain people and you dislike certain people. And so that was an easy one. And then so I had to think back to, like, in the past couple of weeks, just scenarios in my life that keep coming up that just make me feel angry more than usual. And so I was able to get a few. What about you?
It was easy for me because I interact with a lot of people every day, so it's like, even though I don't feel super triggered by very much, it was still cool, like, to have the chance to look at it from that lens,
Yeah, like try to examine it and see, like, why this person is so upset.
Yeah, and it's really easy to, like, catch yourself and be like, oh, okay. And then at least with, like, customers, I interact with a lot of customers, so it's like quick interactions, but so a lot of times, like, it'll be like super quick and, like, lighthearted conversation, obviously, but when it is triggering, it's like, oh, like, it's cool to, like, catch it right away, and then it's easy to be like, I'm just gonna be nicer to you because I can relate to why you're being like this.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
It's true. You can see that you can find something in common with that person. So should we go down our list? Should we go, like, one and one?
Sure. Yeah.
So do you want to go first?
Sure. For me, the customer thing, I think what bugs me is, like, when people tell me, like, how they want their things put into their bags. Like, that used to, like, at first it didn't bother me, and then suddenly it started bothering me. And then because it just makes me want to be, well, then, like, you bag your own shit. Like, why are you telling me, like, how you want it? Like, I know what I'm doing. Like,
I work here.
Yeah.
They taught me how to do this, or, like, I have a method down.
Yeah. And also, like, if you had a super specific method, like, why didn't you do it then?
Yeah.
But it's easy to translate that to, or, like, be able to see how I may be like that, like, bossy, or, like, not nitpicky, I guess nitpicky, or the other one that it made me feel like I was being micromanaged. Different situation at work, but still at work. And so I can see how I can be like that, like, kind of controlling, like, I want things done my way, or I'll just do it myself, so that I don't have to, like, explain to someone, like, how to do it. And so I can see how I could take that and realize I need to chill sometimes too.
Yeah. And that's so one of the things that I noticed a lot here is that, like, the things we find in common with people are things that, like, I want that done. I wouldn't tell that to a person that works at a store, like I get what you're saying about how you want things in a certain way, but it's like, but you can't, like, the difference between you and that person is that you wouldn't, like, say that to the person bagging your groceries. You would tell other people, like, hey, you need to do things this way. Right. And so it's like, like, I think a lot of the theme that we find here is, like, I would do that too, but I hold back, and because this person's not holding back, it's bothering me. Yeah.
And it's crazy because I end up like when I do realize it, then I end up just like doing it and like being like, I don't care. Like, yeah, you want that there. Like, I'm not doing anything else. Like, I'll just fucking do it. Like, it doesn't matter. And then they end up being nice.
Yeah.
So it's like, it totally works.
Just, I mean, asking people how you want things to be done and telling them how you want things to be done and they do it.
Yeah.
And everybody's happy, I guess.
Yeah.
So it's just,
because it's,
you don't like taking it like that. Like, you don't like just people like, all right, do it this way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the way one of my coworkers explained it was, yeah, you just kill them with kindness.
Yeah.
And it's cool because it comes from a genuine place and not so much like I'm going to do this to like spite you, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's good. It's good all around.
True. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And we don't actually know what we're going to do with this list because in the exercise instructions, it says we'll refer to this list later.
Oh, yeah. In the later work. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. How about you?
So my first one was so it's not guests that we've had on the show, but like people that try to get on the show and they're just they have a big ego and they just want it to happen like no matter what, even though like they're not, I wouldn't put them on the show.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I think about that, like people that are pushy like that, it's like, well, I can relate to that too because I'm trying to get to that next level. And sometimes you have to be that way to like get what you want.
Right.
And, you know, sometimes people will tell you no, and that's part of it. And, but like, why am I being so upset at somebody that just wants that chance?
An opportunity.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they're pushing to get that opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and sometimes people are nicer about it than others. But some people are really, really pushy about it because they really want it. So it's like I can relate to that sense of like, hey, I'm trying to get to that next step. Like, why don't you just do this? Or like, why can't I just get this? Like, because we're all trying to be. I also get impatient with my progress. So that was a big thing where it's like, well, why does it make me so upset? These people don't respect. It is because it does feel like they don't respect my process. But at the same time, it's like, well, I'm just trying to get like I can see how somebody can be like so. There's a tunnel vision on like success that it doesn't matter like how they come across because they think they have the talent to back it up. And sometimes the people are right. Like the big example is Kanye West, but then there's people, not everybody's Kanye West, and people have the ego and like the confidence, but the talent's just not there. And so it's hard for me to be in that position, but I also get where they're coming from.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that happens to me all the time on the radio show. You know, it's just and I didn't really think about it like that until I was trying to think about, you know, for this
list.
Yeah. What's your next one?
The next one for me is when people are loud or like I guess obnoxious.
Yeah, I mean inconsiderate. You're talking about, you know.
Yeah, more specifically I'm talking about our neighbors.
Yeah.
We have a couple neighbors, hopefully they don't watch this. They don't watch this. That are get pretty loud sometimes. Sometimes for good reasons, sometimes not for good reasons. And I don't know, either way, just to me, like the first word that comes to mind is like inconsiderate. Because it's like, if we can hear everything you're doing, like you can hear everything we're doing. So it's like, wouldn't you realize like everybody can hear me right now, you know?
I mean, do you think they can hear us right now?
No, I don't think so.
But I get what you're saying. Yeah, like it's like.
But we like, for example, we can probably like watch the TV loud sometimes.
Yeah. And like we watch concerts sometimes, and I turn it up. And I mean, and I try to be conscious too. But sometimes it's like I don't even. It's all good.
Yeah. So, that means that maybe I'm inconsiderate, or I'm obnoxious, or I'm loud. But actually, I think this one is for me is I have repressed that part of myself and I don't let that part of myself come out. Like I could be more expressive and louder, but it's definitely something I want to be more of. Not in an inconsiderate way, but as far as like the sound part of it goes. And then as far as the inconsiderate part, I mean, I'm sure I just haven't like narrowed down how.
Yeah. And it's like sometimes I can see, well, it's kind of at this point, like with the specific situation that we have where we're living, like they've been warned, and it's like at this point, like they know what's going on.
Yeah.
But like in our old apartment, I used to play Rock Band really, really loud, and I think it really traumatized our neighbors downstairs. And I felt bad because I didn't even know until later on. I was like, oh shit, that was really loud. To me, I was fine because I used to play super loud when I used to live at my mom's house. And so I can see how like somebody can get into a situation where you don't even know, but then it's like, think about it, man. Like, and that's why it's like it's relatable because it's like, oh yeah, like no shit, like I'm being loud. Like just think about it for a second, and we've all been there, you know. Like,
so true.
Should I go to my next one?
Yeah. I think we can move on from
them. So another thing that I've had feelings of, being triggered is, there's people that are like that I kind of came up with that are not necessarily my friends or even acquaintances, just people that I've knew since I was like in high school or even before that now I see where they are now, and they're like more successful than I am, in terms of like just finances, because I feel like I feel good about where I am everywhere except for my finances. So I see somebody like that like balling out and doing all this stuff, and it triggers me, but it's obviously jealousy, but it's also like I try to think of it further than that, and it's because it's like I would be doing that shit too if I was that. Like if I was, so I get it. Like it annoys me to see that, but it's because I can relate so much to that. Like, like I'm, but it's just, and I'm also impatient because I want to be at that point already,
And I think for the same reason that we like certain artists versus others is because we recognize that quality in ourselves too.
Yeah.
And I think that when maybe you get triggered by someone who, like in terms of like social media, might appear to be doing better than you, part of it is also because you have the potential to be doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And so you recognize it. And so I think that, I didn't put two and two together, but from the To Be Magnetic podcast, that's how they interpreted that.
Yeah.
And that was a super helpful like shift in perspective for me.
That makes sense. Yeah. So that's why I thought about it like that, where I'm like, like it does annoy me, but it's like I don't see myself like if I was in that situation, I'd probably do the same thing. So you can't really blame somebody.
Right.
And that's one of the things that I was kind of an aside that I thought of right now. We were watching the show, Issa Rae's new show, Rap Shit, and it's about I won't go deep into it, but it's about a girl who's an artist, and she's trying to like make music, but she sees how like the scene is, and it's like I don't want to be a part of that, but. So I feel like that too sometimes, where it's like I could just make stuff that's mediocre that I know is gonna hit, or but it's like I don't want to do it that way. But at the same time, like I get why somebody like even the Kardashians, like they're there because they had an opportunity to make money off doing just whatever, and they're gonna take it.
Anybody would have taken it.
Yeah. So it's like it's triggering, but at the same time, it's like, well, I'm just mad because I didn't get that opportunity myself, or like I could be doing the same thing. I could be as entertaining as that, or
that's true. I didn't get a chance to really look into any like famous people that trigger me.
Yeah.
But I'd be curious to see.
Yeah. Do you have any others on the list you want to mention?
Not really. I have like judged people like for seeming fake or like two-faced, and I try to like, to me, like that, like when people come off like that, like obviously it's like, well, then they seem untrustworthy.
Yeah.
And so then the way I try to think about it is like, how do I come across as untrustworthy, fake, or two-faced? And maybe like I think that I try to not come off that way because I don't like being a hypocrite. But maybe I have come across that way. I don't know. Yeah. I try not to because I try to be consistent in how I am. But there's definitely days when I am like, because I would consider myself introverted.
Yeah.
There's days when I just would rather keep to myself, and maybe there's other days where I do have more energy, and so maybe I might come across fake too.
Yeah.
And like that's not my intention, but I could see how I could also be that.
Yeah, I see that too, like in myself. Like sometimes it's not about like, hey, I'm lying to this person. Sometimes it's like, hey, I don't have the energy to put up this front, or I don't have the energy to fight this battle. So like I mean, honestly, if it was like with somebody like me and you, like obviously I wouldn't hold back. I'd have that conversation.
Right.
But sometimes you're out and about and you're like, somebody comes at you a certain way or they say something that you wouldn't necessarily agree with, but it's better just to be like, whatever, I'm going to move on.
Yeah.
And it's like, but you'd like to portray yourself as that person that would sometimes and sometimes no. Like, and it is two-faced because of that. But it's like some of it's just defense mechanism because you don't have the energy to match that energy today.
Yeah. Even like with us, like I think, I forget what exactly I said. Maybe you will remember because you have a better memory than me. But even earlier today, I think I was frustrated. I was obviously frustrated at myself, but I took it out on you. Like I picked a fight with you and I was mad because I saw myself doing it, but it was already like, but I still feel these things. So I still have to say them. But then after like we talked about it, like, I came to like the realization that like I was frustrated with myself, and as a result, like I like sometimes it's easier to put that on somebody else.
Yeah. And I feel like I've done that for a long time too, and I try to catch myself now when I'm in that situation. But it's not easy because you just see it. You see the first crack and your first reason to be mad at somebody, and then suddenly like all that anger you had for something else goes to that person.
Right.
And it's not good for that to happen.
Yeah, but we got through it. We talked about it.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
And you helped me process it, so thanks.
No problem. So should we get into the advice? Yeah. So I'll start with mine. I think the thing that so I was on a podcast, I don't know when it's going to come out. I was interviewed for a podcast and they asked me the question is like, what advice would you give yourself in the past? So this is essentially, and so it's essentially literally me telling myself like, and I try to tell people because I try to live by it myself too, which is like to not overthink things and not make a bigger deal out of things that you haven't even experienced yet or like
before they happen.
And so I've been trying to do a better job at that, and I try to tell people that as well, but it is honestly for myself to be reminded of like, oh shit, like you're remember like because you're telling people this that it's true for you too. Like,
yeah.
What about you?
I can see that. For me, we kind of already talked about it last week, but it's like don't settle. Like and it's definitely something I need to apply to my life too. And it's not so much that it's settling, it's like maybe what I mean is like for at least for myself is like not to get complacent, because I see myself like getting comfortable like just doing the same routine every day, but it's like obviously like I don't want to like be in like my current situation like forever where I'm like working a lot and where it's like I barely have enough energy outside of working like for myself. Like I want to continue to prioritize my healing and my self-care, and so it does take a lot of effort because it is easy to just like want to come home and take a nap or you know, like not stay consistent with my meal prepping or like working out or whatever it is. So yeah,
that's good.
Yeah. And then today I was telling my dad cause my dad has COVID right now, and my mom just had COVID last week, and they live with my youngest sister. So they're basically like taking turns taking care of each other.
Yeah.
And so I offered today to bring my dad some food because I was like, well, it's also to give like my sister and my mom a break because like they're all doing a lot. Yeah. And so I offered to bring him food, and he's like, no, I'm fine. Like, don't worry about me. Like, we have everything we need. And I was like, well, it's like, I'm just trying to do something nice for you. Like, just like, let me do it. And it took like a few minutes of like talking to him and being like, you know, it's not just for you. It's like so that like my sister and my mom were out running errands, and they had like a list of things that they needed to do.
So you were helping them out
like,
too?
Yeah. So I was like, it's not just for you, but also to like help them like have to do one less thing. And so finally he was able to be like, okay, like that sounds good. But then I realized like, oh yeah, like immediately after I was saying it, I was like, I could use the same advice to like ask for help or like accept help or just like let people do nice things for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a lot of same thing with me. Like there's a lot of guilt where I'm like, I don't know. Like
Yeah.
And even like asking for help and then getting it, I'm like, I still feel bad about asking.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And even as like simple as like rest, like told him a few times, like, because he was telling me like the things that he was gonna like plan to do, even though he was tired, and I'm like, you're tired, like you're sick, just rest.
Yeah.
Like you'll get to the other things that you want to do eventually. Like right now, it's like it's okay to rest, and I think that it must be like the immigrant mentality of like
go.
You have to always be on the go. Yeah, like it's not okay to rest and like take time for yourself. So yeah, I obviously am. That's one of the things I'm trying to unlearn to this day. But yeah, hopefully he also listens. But also, I don't know.
Yeah, you never. I mean, yeah. Some people it takes more for them to go.
It's a lot of years of being a certain way.
Yeah, it's hard to unlearn that stuff.
Yeah.
And you have to be willing to put the work in.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, you've been putting in the work and you're still discovering things about yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. I guess the difference now is like I say it and I'm not upset after. Like you do with that what you want, and like it's like I'm not gonna be upset either way. Like whatever you decide to do.
Yeah.
Because I used to get like not really mad, but I used to like really like get frustrated and be like, well, why can't you just like do the things that you need to do that you tell us to do? Like to my parents, I'm talking about. But now it's like it's your life. Like, you're gonna do like what you're gonna do. And so at least it relieves a lot of like just frustration.
Yeah.
That is like unnecessary.
Yeah, for you.
For me. Yeah.
It's true. Like why? Because they're making the choices they're gonna make.
Right.
Yeah, and I feel that too with my parents. My mom, like sometimes, like it's I feel kind of the opposite with my mom, because I feel like she is too worried about what people are gonna think that she doesn't make the moves that she wants to. Like she's trying to take a trip somewhere and she's like, I don't know, like they're saying I shouldn't go, and not because of the safety of it, just because it's like, oh well, you should, like her siblings are telling her don't go because of this and this, and it's like, it's your life. Like if you want to do it, like just do it. Like I'm just telling her, like your kids are in a position where they can take care of themselves. You can be gone for a week, and we're adults. Like we got it. Like just live your life. And and so even me.
So do you think she gets shamed or guilt-tripped?
Yeah. And I think even though she tells us herself that she tells us that we shouldn't worry about what people think, I think sometimes she'll worry about it because people she cares about it's her siblings and stuff. Yeah. And so her not taking the risks and doing what she wants to do, sometimes she holds back, but she tells us not to hold back. So it's like, you should do the same thing. Like don't worry about anything else, just do it. Because she tells me that all the time. Like don't worry, you'll figure it out. Like just go do it. Like live your life. It's your life. Yeah. So. Yeah, no, it's tough sometimes when they don't take their own advice, but yeah, everyone needs to read this book. That's cool. Yeah, so I think I want to keep adding to these lists as we go. Yeah. But for now, I'm excited to listen to the next chapter. Yeah. Same. Cool. So that was it for this week's shadow work. It took us a while to get to it because it was a lot to talk about, but I'm glad we did. Yeah. And we're gonna continue on to the next chapter, and we'll let you know what the next activity is and all that stuff. The book is The Dark Side of the Light Chasers. That's the one we've been reading and doing the activities for. So if you want to do that, you can get that on Audible. We're not sponsored by them or anything, but that's where you can get it.
Not yet.
Hit us up though. So should we move on to the scenarios?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. You want to start with the first one?
Sure. I have a daughter, Chloe, who's 21, with my ex. When she was 7, we had a messy divorce. He didn't want me to leave and made it very clear to Chloe. After the divorce, I met my husband, Jack. We started dating while Chloe was 8, but she was 9 when she finally met him. Chloe did not accept the relationship and wanted nothing to do with him, and my ex certainly didn't help. Sometimes I had to work the late shifts, so I had an idea and told Jack to basically take her out to ice cream when I was late. While Chloe hated him, she wouldn't say no to dessert. So basically, he framed it as sneaking ice cream when mom's at work. The bribery worked pretty quickly, and she came around to liking him. Nowadays, she's closer to Jack than her father, and even calls Jack dad. And sometimes I think she's closer to him than me.
So Chloe is currently 7 months pregnant. She was over yesterday and we were talking about everything. We talked about us as grandparents, and I joked about how we'll try not to sneak our granddaughter away for ice creams. Chloe was surprised and didn't realize I knew about it. I explained what I said above, and that obviously he's not gonna just take his girlfriend's daughter out so often without telling her. For some reason, Chloe got upset about it. She basically said we lied to her and manipulated her, and said that I shouldn't think she's cheap to buy her love and invade her privacy, and stormed off. I honestly didn't think this was such a big deal. She hasn't responded to me or Jack after she left today. Jack is annoyed with me and says I didn't have to say anything, though he doesn't know why she's so upset either. She got along with him so well. I don't understand why it not being a secret would ruin anything. Maybe buying her love wasn't great, but she wasn't giving him a chance. None of it was an insult. I just wasn't thinking and forgot we never explained it to her. She clearly thinks I'm wrong and Jack isn't happy. Did I do the right thing?
Dang.
Damn. I didn't read this one before. This is good.
Yeah, right? Because I feel like parents probably have to do that all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think... What do you think?
I can see why she feels manipulated.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like she grew to like him. So I don't see why it's that big of a deal.
It wasn't like the ice cream was the reason why you liked him.
Yeah.
It was
just a window
catalyst.
of like an opportunity to like get to know him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so... And he was a little kid. It wasn't like... And it was maybe manipulative in a way, but it's like... How else are you supposed to be with little kids? Like, you kind of have to, in a good way, manipulate them to kind of do the right thing, and then they'll eventually learn, like, oh yeah, like this is the right thing, not because I'm being tricked or anything. Like,
right.
But I also understand that she's 21, and she's not mentally, mature enough to understand that maybe.
Maybe, yeah. Like
she just feels slighted in a way, and I get that, but I mean, you were a kid and you liked him more than your own mom. Like it wasn't just because he was giving you ice cream.
Yeah, I mean, you're allowed to be mad if you're mad about it, but hopefully I don't think she's an asshole for telling her. At least she eventually told her, I guess.
Yeah.
Even though she didn't realize she was going to be revealing such a big secret, like at least she knows now.
Yeah, now she knows that it was like not a cool thing to do, I guess.
It was like a strategy, but maybe she'll see. I mean, she is pregnant, so she's about to find out, maybe.
Yeah. How
you have to
deal with kids sometimes.
Yeah.
Suck it up, Chloe.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I don't think the mom is an asshole for doing that or for throwing it out there as a joke, because it was like, and then it's like, Chloe's 21 years old. Like, even if she didn't know at the time, like maybe from 9 to 11, like the trips were secret, and maybe at 12 he's like, hey, by the way, like the way we got to know each other was because I took her out for ice cream. So she was really oversensitive about the issue, because it wasn't like he's still taking her out for ice cream, like it was years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, I think that one's pretty clear.
Yeah.
All right, should I keep going?
Yeah.
So this is from a female. She says, I've been with my boyfriend for over 4 years. I have always been pretty good with money and have some investments in the works when we met. My boyfriend, on the other hand, isn't the smartest when it comes to money management, and we've always kept our finances separate. Last year, I bought my childhood home from my mom, and I did it completely on my own. My boyfriend moved in with me, and after a couple of months, I asked him to start paying rent. The house is old, and we both work in the construction business, so I started to remodel it room by room, since the house was really in bad shape. I asked my boyfriend to help me fix it up on his spare time. This was when the problem started. He never wanted to work on the house, and when I would bring it up, he said I was slaving him away. It's been over 6 months, and we still aren't done. He finally snapped one day and told me he doesn't want to help because it isn't his house, and if we break up, I'm going to have a nice house and he's going to be left with nothing. He said it only benefits me in the end. I tried to explain all the times I'd helped him, load him money for cars, and stuck my neck on the line for him with no assurance things were going to work out, and she shoots it down. I feel like he should want the help to fix the house he also lives in to make it better. I pay for all the materials and expenses. All I'm asking for is his time and skills. So am I the asshole for expecting him to help?
I don't know. I kind of think you are.
Yeah? Yeah. I mean,
because you wouldn't ask that of a tenant.
Yeah.
If he's
paying rent, if he's paying you rent, then it's your house. Because he's paying rent, then no. Then yeah, I guess not.
Yeah, like you should probably be using some of that rent money that he pays to like hire somebody.
Yeah, because I guess at this point he's like your roommate that you're romantically involved with, but he's a roommate and he has to, and he's paying his rent, and you wouldn't ask.
Yeah, because like he didn't sign up for it. Like he probably didn't sign up for it. It would have already been discussed. Yeah. Or should have already been discussed like before him moving in, right?
Yeah.
Or something like it should have been an agreed upon thing, not something like you just expect somebody to do.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know if it's clear that she asked him to move in or he just moved in. But either way he's paying rent, so it's not like he's freeloading off of you or anything.
Right.
So then it doesn't seem like it's fair to have to remodel the house.
Mm-hmm.
And it's true because, I mean, I thought of it. It was a little weird that he's like, well, what if we break up? And it's like, well, I mean, you've been together for 4 years. Like, what do you think? Like, are you thinking this is gonna end all of a sudden? But I guess it doesn't matter if he's paying rent. Like, even if they break up, he should be able to still live there. But that's not the point. But I'm saying, but she still owns the house at the end of the day. So, yeah. Wow, you really should. That's true. At one point, you changed my mind about it too.
You thought she was not the asshole before?
No, I was like, well, he could help out, but at the same time, like, he's paying the rent to do what he wants in that place. He's paying you rent. You own the house, so he's a tenant.
Right. And it's like you can't tell people what to do with their spare time.
Yeah.
Because then they're gonna end up resenting you.
Yeah. So sorry. You own a house, but you're kind of a jerk for expecting somebody else to remodel it with you for I mean, maybe if you pay him.
Yeah.
Maybe if he didn't have to pay rent, maybe that would be something different. Then help
but then
out.
even then he would like it would have to not come from him, but he'd have to like agree to it.
Yeah. Beforehand.
Yeah.
So one jerk. You want to do the last one?
Yeah. Am I the asshole for not wanting my girlfriend to use my gym equipment? I decided I don't like driving all the way to the gym 4 times a week or sharing equipment with other people, so I decided to spend $4,500 on building myself a home gym. My girlfriend of 2.5 years doesn't live with me. She has a key for emergencies in all caps. One morning, she let herself in to use my gym without even checking if I was okay with it. Needless to say, I wasn't okay with this. The whole point was that I didn't want to share a gym with anyone else. She's acting like I'm the asshole for not wanting to share my gym with her. But she has a gym membership, and it's no further away from her place than my house is. There's no real reason she has to use mine.
Oh, man. I mean, what do you think?
I agree with him that
she should have asked.
She should have asked because she was aware that the key was only for emergencies, and she didn't ask. Like,
yeah,
you could have just asked.
Yeah, like you could have asked, and if him saying no, if you asked him, maybe he's an asshole for it, but you should have asked because I mean, homie sounds like he was really about his stuff.
He invested a lot of money into it, and he takes it seriously.
Yeah. And I just like I wouldn't care if you did something like that.
But imagine like you spent obviously money on all your equipment. Imagine like I didn't even ask, and I just started like setting up your equipment and like used it. Like you'd be like, you'd definitely think it was weird.
Yeah.
You'd at least be like, why didn't you ask me, or why didn't you just like let me know, give me a heads up or something?
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I see that, because it'd be like, if I just started grabbing your stuff and like, hey, I'm gonna use your computer without, I mean, it would feel weird for me not to ask you, because it's something that just belongs to you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. And she must have known what she was doing to not ask him.
Yeah.
She was like trying to be sneaky about it. She could have been like, hey, I'm here. Can I use your gym equipment? But no, she was like, one day he woke up.
Yeah. So, and obviously, like, he's very specific about the way he wants his things, if he went so out of the way to, like, you know, build something like that for himself. So it's like, you should know that that's not something like to be taken lightly. Yeah. Wow. So I think at first, weren't you thinking that he was the asshole?
Yeah, no, the same thing with the last one too. Like, I'm thinking, you made me change my mind, but it's true. Like, I wouldn't want to do something like that without permission. Right. That's weird. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, thank you guys for watching this episode. It was a good one, huh?
Yeah, it was.
Remember to share this video, like, subscribe to the channel if you can. If you have not, do that. Our numbers are going up, so we appreciate all the subscribers that are checking out our stuff. You can follow me online at I am Caesar Rod. Where can they follow you? At
Carla Rod 89 and Plant Parenthood OC, both on Instagram.
Yep, and you can follow my radio show that I do every Friday at The Rodriguez Show, and it's it's always great. We had some great artists this past week. And like I also mentioned, follow me at Instagram and let me know if you want me to produce your podcast. I'm started Caesar Rodriguez Podcast and Video Services, so I can use this same equipment. You'll ask me for permission, and I'll say yes, because you won't be a jerk. And we can make it happen. I'm available for hire to produce, record, edit YouTube videos, podcasts, workout videos, whatever. I can record my iPhones and microphones. I'll do it for you. So
yeah, and even if it's not one of the things you listed, just pitch the idea.
We can make it happen.
Yeah.
And if you want to record at the Hits 101 Radio Studio, we can make that happen as well. We are not renting out this studio because it's our home. That's it, right?
That's it. Mm-hmm.
Okay, guys, remember to take care of yourselves and each other.
Bye. Thank you for watching.